Hello everyone, in this video we're going to be doing the forecast feature section, which is a project that I actually thought that I did on this channel, but apparently I did not. So if you head over into frontendmentor.io/challenges, then you can click on this card, you can search for it. It is almost close to the bottom, but you can click on this card and then you can begin this challenge. So I'm going to say visit challenge hub, and then I'm going to say download starter. And then once it downloads the starter files, then I can navigate into my downloads folder, and I'm going to get this zip file called forecast feature section master, which I am going to extract. So right click and say extract here, and it is going to extract into this folder, which I'm also going to right click and say open with Visual Studio Code, which is going to open up a new instance of VS Code inside here. And then what I'm going to do is I also want to open up the design files for this. So inside the design files, and I'm going to get the desktop design. And this is what we have for the desktop design. And then we also have the mobile design here, which is just stacked one on top of the other. So to begin, I'm going to go into my index.html, and we're just going to do a bit of structuring. So we're going to structure our content. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to grab everything inside here and cut it out and place it inside a main element. So that is going to be the main content of the web page. And you can open up your sidebar by saying Control B. You can just toggle it by Control B. And then actually, you know what? Let me see how this looks. So it has the H1 here, and then it has the paragraph below it. So this is the H1. So let me do this. Let me grab this and the paragraph up to here, cut it out, and place it inside an article, and then paste this in, and then grab this and place it inside an H1, and then see how it is styled. This part is lighter, and then this is darker. I mean, not darker, but like the font weight is different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this part up to here and place it inside a span, so that we're going to be able to style it differently. And then grab this part and place it inside the paragraph. And then once we have that, then we have our feature section next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out all the way up to here, cut it out and place it inside a div, and then paste this in. And then each div is going to have an article. So I'm going to place an article inside here. And then how it is structured is one article is, we have the body on top, we have the H2. I'm going to call these ones H2s, and then the paragraph. So I'm going to cut this out, place it inside an H2, and then this is going to be a paragraph. And then below the paragraph, we have this image. So we're going to add in an image tag, and the first image should come from /images / should be supervisor. And then we're going to do the same thing for the rest of the articles. So just cut this out. So place it inside an article. And then this is going to be an H2. And then this is going to be a paragraph. And then below this paragraph, we have our image. And this image should be team builder. And then remove this space and add the space. And then we have our third image here. So add another article. And then this is going to be an H2, and then this is going to be a paragraph. Oops, what did I do? Paragraph. And then below this, let's add in an image coming from /images / this icon. And then we have our fourth one here, so article. And then this is an H2, oops, an H2. And then this is a paragraph. And then below this, we have an image coming from /images / calculator. And then once we have that, then let's go ahead and also change this part here. So let me paste in my website. And then this is going to be my name. And then let's go ahead and save this. And then in order to open this up, then I'm going to use an extension that is called Live Server, which is going to launch a local development server for me with hot reloading. So if you want to install it, then you can go into your extensions here, and the extension is called Live Server. So you can go ahead and install it, and you don't have to use it, but that is my preferred way. So I'm going to right click inside here and just say open with Live Server. And as that opens up, then let me go ahead into our style guide, because we need to change up the fonts. So we need the Poppins font, and we need the 200, 400, and 600 font weights. So just say Control and click on this link. Oops. Control and Okay, there we go. So control and click on this link, which is going to open up this link. Okay, so this is our initial view, and then let's go ahead and get the 200, 400 and 600. Yes, so we need the 200. So the extra light 200, the, where is it, the regular 400, and the semi bold 600. And I just use the import tab here. So copy this part, and then back inside our workspace, then let's go ahead and create an index.css file. And then once that is created, then we can go ahead and paste in this link, and then let's specify for the body to have a font family of Poppins with a fallback of sans serif. And then let's specify our h1 span, so the span inside the h1, and you know that the span is this one. Actually not, I should have done it differently, so that the span is the one that has the lighter font width. So let me remove this from here, remove this and remove this, and then let's paste the span to be inside here. So span, so that now when I save this, oops, this shouldn't be here. Okay, so now when I save this, and then I can go ahead inside the h1 span, and I can set the font weight to be 200 to be the extremely light font. And then let me also specify for the paragraphs to have a line height of 1.8 to space them out just a bit. And then they should have a lighter color, like it is almost grayed out, you can see. So let's go ahead into our style guide. Let's go ahead and say, let me see, very light gray, grayish blue. So let's just try it out. So copy, let's see if it's this one. No, that is not the one. Should be grayish blue. Copy and paste it here. That should be the one. Let's check it out here. Oh, it doesn't work yet. It doesn't work because we haven't linked our index.css in our index.html. So before we do that, let's go ahead and just reset everything. See how everything has a margin and some spacing here? I want to reset that margin. So I'm going to say reset the margin to 0, reset the padding to 0, and then set the box sizing to border box. And that should reset everything here. But then once again, let's go ahead and link it. Let's go and link our index.css file. So right below this. So below this, let's go ahead and link our index.css file, so that when you save this, now this should reset. And there we go. You can see that now it uses the correct font, and the paragraph is a bit lighter. And now all we need to do is change the color of the headings. So for the headings inside here, we have an h1 and an h2. So let me go above this. Let me specify that for the h1 and for the h2, then the color should be this very dark blue. So copy and paste it here. Oops, what I do? Copy and paste it here, and that is the correct one. There we go. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be building this mobile first. So I'm going to drag this and place it to the right, and then place my code editor to the left, so that we can begin building this mobile first. And then what I want to do is inside my index.html, I did not give any class names, but what I'm going to do is inside this div, I'm going to give this div a class of cards. And then I don't think we need to do anything to give any other class. I don't think we need to give any other class, because I can use pseudo classes to target all of these articles. So that should be fine. I think we only need this this class. So let me go ahead and save this, and then let me go inside the main element, and then I want the immediate article, which is the first child here, meaning only this article, so only this one here, which has our h1 and our paragraph. And then I'm going to say text align center, which should bring this text to the center. And then I'm going to copy this and access the h1 as well. And for the h1, I'm going to give a margin on the bottom. It's margin dash bottom of 1 rem, separate it out from the paragraph, and then copy this. And you know what, let me do this. Let me go above this. Let me give it a margin on the bottom of 2 rem to push away from this first card that we have. And then above this, let me access the main element, and let me give it a padding of 3 rem on the top and bottom. and 1 rem on the left and right, so that this pushes downwards and then inwards. And now this looks a bit small still, so let me say 5 rem. Let's work with 5 rem. So 5 rem on the top and on the bottom, and this is centered on mobile. I think it is. Let's just confirm. Yeah, it is centered on mobile, and then we have our paragraph here that's looking okay. And then now we need to go ahead and start dealing with our articles. So inside here, I'm going to say inside the main element, we have a div with a class of cards. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to display this class of cards as a grid. So I'm going to say display grid with the grid template columns to repeat once with one fractional column each. And then we're going to give them a grid gap of about 1.5 rem to separate them out. And then once we have this, then it's not really visible on the screen because we only have one grid. And so if you want to see whether this is working correctly, what you can do is you can go inside the main and inside the .cards class and then access the individual articles. So each of these articles inside here. So the first article and then the second and third and fourth. And then what you can do is you can say like give this a background color of red just to see how the articles are separated one from the other. So that okay, what's wrong? Okay, there we go. So that now you can see that we have this grid here, and then we have this one, and then this one, and then this one. So that's looking okay. So the body has a gray background color, and then these articles are white in color. So let me change this into hashtag FFF, which is white. And then inside the body, we need to specify a background color here. So a background color, and the background color should be very light gray. So copy this and paste it here. That should be correct. There we go. So that now you can see the white articles are just a bit more pronounced, but they have a box shadow here. As you can see, they have a very slight box shadow, which we are also going to add. So before I add that, let me go ahead and do this. We need to reduce the size of these h2s. So let me go inside the main articles h2s here. And then let's also specify the font size to be about 1.5 rem, which is about 24 pixels, I think. Let's say 1.25. And then let's give them a margin bottom of 1 rem. And then let's go ahead and specify for the paragraphs here, and let's specify the paragraphs to have a margin bottom of 3 rem to push away from this image. And then let's go ahead and access the images, so the images inside here, and then we want these images to move to the right. And so how you can do that is you can make the images a block element. So I can say display block of the images. And when I say that, you can see that nothing changes. But when I set the margin on the left to auto, then it should push it to the right. There we go. And then now what we need to do is I want to go ahead and add a box shadow on the articles. So let's go ahead and add a box shadow here. And let's say the box shadow should be 6 pixels by 6 pixels by 6 pixels. And then let's give them an RGB color of 0.5, just to see where it is. And you can see that that's where it is. And we need this to be a bit lighter, 0.2. And I'm just realizing that this is not black. The box shadow is not black. The box shadow is kind of this color. So this kind of like blue or cyan color. So let's go ahead and copy this. And then let's replace it inside here for our box shadow color. And we should be able to see it. There we go. And then let's add an alpha value here of about 0.2. That's almost, let's say 0.1, 0.15. And then what we need to do is increase the blur radius. So the blur radius is this one. Let's increase it to 16 pixels. Okay, yeah, that's looking almost okay. But now I don't want it to move to the right, and the reason why it's moved to the right is because of these 6 pixels. So if I set this to 0, should move back to the left, almost to the left. And then if I make this to be even prominent so that we can actually see it, then that's how it looks. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, was I wrong? This is the correct one. Yeah, that's the correct one. So we set these two values to 0, 0. So 0 on the horizontal, 0 on the vertical, and then 16 pixels as the blur radius. So that's looking okay. And then now let's reduce this back to 1.5, and then let's add a padding of, let me say, about 1.5 rem all around so that this content pushes inwards a bit. and then let's add a border radius of 0.5 rem to make the cards rounded. And would you look at that, that is our mobile design. Let me see if there's anything. Oh, we need to add these top lines. So let's go ahead and add the top lines. So for the top lines, we're going to do this. We're going to use the pseudo classes. So I'm going to say that for the article, which is the first child, then I want a border on the top, and the border top is going to be, let me say, about 3 pixels solid. And then let's go ahead and copy this color, which should be red. So copy and paste it here. Let me see how it works. There we go. So you can see that we have that. Now the reason why we have this curving, see how it curves here, is because of the border radius. So it means that the border on the top here is not as much as the border radius that we applied. So in order for it to be like exactly the same so that this curve doesn't appear, then we need to have the border, the what is it, the width of the border to be the same size as the border radius, so that this comes completely, so that it doesn't curve here. So what you can do now is we can change this into 0.5 rem, and you'll notice that now it's proper. See how now it's proper? And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the other card. So copy this down 3 more times. So 1, 2, 3, and then change this into nth child 2, meaning the second one, and then change this into nth child 3, nth child 3, and then change this into nth child 4, and nth child 4 being the last one. You can also say change this into last child because it's the last one. And then now we just need to change these colors. So this second one is going to be cyan, so copy this, paste it here. And then the third one is going to be orange, copy and paste. And then the fourth one is going to be blue, so copy and paste. So that now when I save this, then it should appear. There we go, looking fantastic. And then now what we need to do is scale this up so that it looks nicer on bigger devices, because you can see this is horrible. So what you can do now is, let's start from the top by increasing the size of this H1. So let me make this full screen, and then let me split my screen by saying Control and backslash, so that we have 2 editors here. So that now I can scroll to the top here and we can access the H1. Let's add a media query. So I'm going to say at media that for a min width of about 768 pixels, then I want to access the main and then the article first child, and then access the H1, and then increase the size of the H1 to a font size of about 3 rem. So that this is now increased. That's too big, 2 rem. Let's say 2 rem. And then what we need to do also is, let me see, we need this to be limited. We need let me look at this design. I know the content is limited, so you can see how this is limited, like it doesn't go all the way to the end. So what we can do is this, we can go ahead and access the main and then the immediate article, and then we can set this to have a max width of about, let me say, 500 pixels, and now it should be moved to the left. So now in order to move to the center, then we need to apply a margin. So let me say apply a margin, and this has a margin somewhere as well, a margin bottom. Will this margin bottom affect, let me see margin auto, let me see whether it will affect this margin here. Okay, it doesn't affect it. Okay, nice. There we go. So we have limited this part, and then now we also need to go ahead and limit our cards. So I'm going to say that for the main and then for the dot cards, then I want a max width of 1200 pixels, which should limit these cards. You can see that now they don't go all the way to the end. And then let me also say set a margin of auto so that it pushes everything to the center. And then now we need to display this as a grid. You know what? Instead of using grid, because I'm trying to think how I'm going to do this, and I'm thinking, let me use flexbox. So let me say display flex. Let's see. So they should be aligned 1, 2, 3, 4, and then and then we need all these cards to take up equal space. So we need to say for the main, for the dot cards, and then for all the articles to have a flex of 1, so that they take up equal width. So let me go ahead and try something. And so what I'm going to try is this. I am going to say, let me see. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say align it to the center and justify content to the center. And nothing should change except for this, that now they're aligned to the center. And then what I want to do is I want to get this div and this one and push them downwards. So what I'm going to say is that for the main, for the dot cards, and then for the article, which is the first child, and then I also want to get the last child. So for the main, for the dot cards, for the article, which is the last child, so meaning this first one and the last one, because that's how it is. So the first one and the last one. Then I want to go and say that transform and translate on the y-axis, meaning move them downwards. So translate on the y-axis by 50%. So let's see. Okay, so this moves downwards, but this doesn't move downwards. Why? Oh, it's because of this space. So there should be a space here. Okay. So they move downwards. Okay, okay. And then now we need this one and this one to come down. So we need this to come down. And how do we do that? Let's add a fixed width here of 300 pixels. Let's see. Okay, we've added a fixed width, so we don't need this one. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. We need it. So how do we do that? Flex wrap of wrap. Does that fix it? Okay, okay, we are making progress, except that now this is moving downwards even more. So if I remove this, then it should fix it. Okay, and then now what I need to do is, wait, what? Why is this not here and this is here? Interesting. So instead of saying first child here, then I can say nth child and set this to odd, and this should now move here. Okay, okay, looking nice, looking nice. And then now these cards look a bit small to me, so let me increase this to 400 pixels. Let me see. Okay, so the reason why it does this is because of our max width. The max width is too small, so let's increase this to 1400 pixels. There we go. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? But now the only issue is that this article should be here, right? Yeah, the calculator is the one that that should be here. How do I do that actually? Nth child odd, and if I change this to even, then of course this happens. This should still remain odd, but I want the article, which is the first child. So first child, and it should only move this downwards. That's interesting. I mean, I'm not quite sure how you can get this to come here, but anyway, you know what, let me just have this as nth child and set it to odd, and then this moves downwards. And then now let's add some padding on this attribution. It's too small, so we can close this. Then we can go to the attribution. Where is it? Index HTML. So here, let's change this to 12 pixels. Let's have some padding on the bottom of 2 rem, not 22 rem, so that we have a bit of leeway to scroll here. Let's make this 14. Yeah, that's looking much better. And then now we can go ahead and submit this to GitHub and then deploy it on Netlify, and then we can submit the solution. So let's go ahead and create a GitHub repository. So GitHub here, and then let's also open up Netlify, and then we can close this. We can remove this, and then we can close this, and then let's go ahead and also shut this down. And then let's open up our terminal and let's create a new repository. that is called ForCAD features. So create a new repository called ForCAD feature-yt, and then create repository, and then copy this link, and then let's just say git init and git add all and git commit, let's say initial commit dash project complete, and then git remote add origin and paste in our link, and git push dash u origin main. And the commands that I've done here are these commands. So I've just started here and I've skipped this one because by default the default branch is main. So by default the default branch is main. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. So now that this is submitted, then you can reload this and we are going to be able to see our application here. And then now all we need to do is just log into Netlify and then let's say add a new site from GitHub. And then we can deploy the ForCAD feature. So let's go ahead authorizing and let's say ForCAD feature. And then as it searches, we're just going to wait a moment. There we go. So we can go ahead and deploy this. And then let's just say deploy site. That should be correct. Deploy site. And then let's change our site name here. So change this into TsbSankara. Let's say ForCAD feature-yt. Save it. And it should have deployed. There we go. So now we can click on this. And there we go. So we're able to see this. That's looking nice. So let's go ahead and copy this link and then let's submit it here. So submit solution. This is the live site URL, and then we need the repository URL here. And then I'm going to say mobile first ForCAD features section in vanilla HTML and CSS. And then let's say submit solution. There we go. So we can close this and we can close this as well. And yeah, we can close this. So let's say view solution to see how well we did. And where is it? Oh, here it is. So would you look at that? So we have, this is our solution and then this is the design. So, you know, we did the best we could, but yeah, it does look quite nice. So that is going to be the end of the video, and if you enjoyed it, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already and ring the notification bell so that you're always going to be notified of when I upload a new video.